Azaria Tagaya, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Number of flood evacuees nationwide rises to more than 106,000. And the price of imported white rice to be reduced beginning December 1st. Good morning. The number of flood evacuees nationwide rose to 1,667 people as of 10:30 p.m. on Friday. Kelantan remains as the state most affected by floods, with more than 77,000 evacuees in 269 temporary relief centres or PPS. According to the Social Welfare Department's Info Bencana portal, Pasir Mas recorded the most evacuees with 24,889 individuals in 61 PPS. This was followed by Tumpas with more than 13,000 evacuees and Kota Baru with 10,886 individuals. The flood situation in Terengganu is also alarming, with 21,271 evacuees sheltering in 289 PPS. Besut recorded the highest number of evacuees with 7,481 people being placed in 108 PPS. Aside from the East Coast states, 7 other states in Peninsular Malaysia are also experiencing floods, with Selangor, Melaka and Negeri Sembilan most recently hit. Kedah recorded the highest amount of evacuees outside of the East Coast. More than 4,000 people were evacuated to 49 PPS across Kubang Pasu, Padang Terap, Kota Star, Sik, Kuala Muda and Pokok Sena. In Negeri Sembilan, at least 2,000 individuals were evacuated from the districts of Tampin, Kuala Pilah, Jempol and Port Dickson. Perlis recorded 488 evacuees, while Selangor recorded 476 from Klang, and Melaka recorded 203 evacuations from Jasin, Aru Gajah and Melaka Tengah. A total of 660 temporary relief centres have since been opened nationwide, with 3 deaths recorded since November 27th. Meanwhile, the Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, has issued a continuous heavy rain warning expected to affect Kelantan and Terengganu until Saturday. The warning is also expected to impact 6 other states: Perak, Pahang, Perlis, Kedah, Pulau Pinang and Johor. In a statement on Friday, Met Malaysia reported that dangerous level continuous torrential rain is expected in Kelantan, specifically in Tumpat, Pasir Mas, Kota Baru, Jeli, Tanah Merah, Bachok, Machang, Pasir Putih and Kuala Krai, as well as in Terengganu. At the same time, severe continuous rain is forecasted in Hulu Perak in Perak, Gua Musang in Kelantan and several districts in Pahang, namely Jerantut, Mahran, Kuantan, Pekan and Rompin. Additionally, continuous rain at the alert level is expected in Perlis, Kedah and Pulau Pinang. The same warning has been issued to a number of areas in Perak involving Kerian, Larut, Matang, Selama, Kuala Kangsar, Kinta and Kampar. Similar conditions are also expected in Cameron Highlands, Lipis, Raub, Bentong, Temerloh and Bera in Pahang, as well as in Segamat, Merseng and Kota Tinggi in Johor. Meanwhile, the National Disaster Management Agency NADMA has activated the Central Disaster Operations Control Centre or PKOB to coordinate and monitor rescue operations and on-site flood victim management. The Central PKOB was activated to allow the coordination of all state centres that are currently managing the disaster. In a statement on Friday, NADMA said the coordination includes assets and logistical requirements, arranging the movement of rescue teams, as well as other requirements that cross the respective states. The statement added that given the substantial rise in the number of victims in Kelantan, the state PKOB has requested additional collapsible tents to be placed at the temporary relief centres or PPS. The state Social Welfare Department has also requested 50,000 units of additional retort food to be distributed at the PPS. According to NADMA, the Special Malaysian Disaster Assistance and Rescue Team SMART has also been deployed to the affected areas to assist in search and rescue operations in the affected states, especially in Kelantan. The agency added that all assets have been mobilised to face a more serious disaster if it occurs. In the meantime, more than 7,000 officers from various agencies have been deployed to Kelantan to assist victims in the state. Speaking to the media after visiting flood victims at SK Tapang in Kota Baru on Friday, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said they've been deployed to the state in stages over the past 4 days. In addition, various types of assets have also been deployed to the state over the past week to aid in rescue work.
Saya mendapat maklumat bahawa terdapat kekurangan kemah-kemah. Saya telah mengarahkan NADMA untuk menghantar kemah-kemah yang ada di dalam stor di negeri-negeri lain yang belum dilanda banjir.
In a related development, the Malaysian Army in a post on Facebook announced that the 8th Brigade Command has mobilized personnel and assets to assist in rescuing affected residents in Kelantan and Terengganu. The Army has also activated Op Murni to support relevant agencies in flood relief efforts. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has instructed that leave for all cabinet ministers be cancelled to ensure every government resource is available to deal with the country's floods. He said it was critical that all ministers be involved in assisting the flood mitigation efforts.
Dah semua menteri mana diminta teruskan tugas sekarang. Turun. Hari ini pun ada banyak. Ya, terus.
On Thursday, the Prime Minister had ordered NADMA to streamline the coordination of its entire machinery. This is to ensure the safety and welfare of flood victims throughout the northeast monsoon season, which is expected to last until March. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim has expressed prayers for the victims in 7 flood-ravaged states. The king said he hoped that those affected are granted protection, strength and patience in these trying times. In a post on his Facebook page on Friday, Sultan Ibrahim also prayed for the safety of rescue personnel involved in flood operations. He also instructed NADMA to ensure facilities at temporary relief centres are in top condition and that aid reaches the victims. His Majesty also urged the public to stay vigilant and take preventive measures in response to unpredictable weather conditions while staying alert to instructions from authorities. In Terengganu, 2 siblings died while another survived when their house was buried by a landslide in Kampung Bukit Apit, Hulu, Terengganu on Friday. In the 4:30 p.m. incident, it is believed that 2 other siblings of the victims were able to escape before parts of the hillside collapsed. According to an early report from the Terengganu Fire and Rescue Department, 16 rescuers were rushed to the scene after they received a distress call. The first victim, 17-year-old Uzair Azman, was successfully rescued at about 4:45 p.m. The 2 other victims, 16-year-old Putri Sajida and 13-year-old Siti Fatima, were later extracted at about 6:32 p.m. and 6:59 p.m. but were confirmed dead by medical personnel. All 3 victims were sent to the Sultanah Nur Zahira Hospital in Kuala Terengganu for treatment and post-mortem. Sultan Nazruddin Muizzuddin Shah has called for comprehensive reforms to the United Nations, UN and international financial institutions to address the interconnected challenges of today's global landscape. According to the Sultan of Perak, the concept of development has shifted dramatically in the past 80 years. In his royal address at the Putrajaya Festival of Ideas on Friday, Sultan Nazruddin said that institutions such as the UN, World Bank and IMF still operate under outdated governance structures established after World War II.
Almost 80 years after World War II ended, it is surely past time to reform the global institutions that were set up during and just after it. The United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund all continue to function based on the same outdated rules of global governance that were developed then.
He added development was previously seen as a strictly economic process aimed at advancing countries from low to high income status. However, this model has led to problems such as widespread poverty, environmental degradation and rising inequality. He added that development must be centered on achieving social and economic justice, ensuring that everyone, regardless of background, has access to opportunities and resources. The parents of Zayn Rayyan Abdul Mateen have submitted a representation to the Attorney General's Chambers AGC on Friday for a review of the child neglect charge against them. According to the lawyer representing the couple, the representation was filed on November 19th. Representing Zaim Ikwan Zahari and Ismanira Abdul Manaf, lawyer Fahmi Mo'in confirmed that a representation was submitted to the AGC requesting to review and withdraw the charges, though he declined to provide further details. In June, the couple, both aged 29, pleaded not guilty to a joint charge of neglect that allegedly caused physical injury to their 6-year-old son. The Petaling Jaya Sessions Court had scheduled December 6 to hear the decision on the representation after the defence indicated that they would seek a review of the charges based on documents from the prosecution. The couple is currently out on on bail of 10,000 ringgit each. They are accused of neglecting their son between noon on December 5th and 9:55 p.m. on December 6, 2023 in Damansara Damai. The charge, framed under the Child Act, carries a maximum penalty of 50,000 ringgit fine, up to 20 years in prison or both upon conviction.
Di dalam
Padi Beras Nasional Berhad or Bernas has agreed to reduce the price of imported white rice from 3,000 ringgit to 2,800 ringgit per metric ton beginning December 1st. Agriculture and Food Security Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Sabu said the price reduction is in line with current global market trends and the strengthening of the ringgit against the US dollar. The government is optimistic that the initiative will help reduce the cost of living for the people by improving access and availability of rice at lower prices. At the same time, the ministry will continue to engage with all stakeholders to develop a long-term action plan for more realistic rice production cost structures so as to ensure the growth of the industry while safeguarding the welfare of farmers. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani has called for greater cooperation between Malaysia and Indonesia to address the regulatory challenges facing the global palm oil industry. The minister warned that protectionist policies, including the European Union deforestation regulation, could lead to trade barriers. Johari highlighted this issue at the 12th Council of Palm Oil Producing Countries CPOPC ministerial meeting in Jakarta, Indonesia on Friday. The meeting was chaired by Indonesia's Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs, Airlangga Hartarto.
Mesyuarat ini dapat kita kendalikan dengan begitu baik dan masing-masing mempunyai pandangan dan dapat kita pastikan bahawa tindakan kita seterusnya untuk berdepan dengan propaganda-propaganda yang negatif terhadap kelapa sawit ini dapat kita atasi bersama.
Johari also emphasized Indonesia's position as the world's largest palm oil producer, noting its use of palm oil for biodiesel.
Jadi sudah tentu apabila Indonesia menggunakan kelapa sawit sebagai satu komponen biodiesel, dia akan menyebabkan permintaan kelapa sawit ini akan sentiasa meningkat dan dia akan memberi satu harga yang sangat bagus kepada pemain-pemain industri kelapa sawit.
Johari also confirmed that Malaysia will assume CPOPC chairmanship next year. CPOPC members include Malaysia, Indonesia and Honduras, while Ghana, Papua New Guinea and Colombia serve as observer countries. Earlier, the meeting welcomed Nigeria and Congo as new observer countries. The Bank of Thailand, BOT, on Friday said the country's economy improved in October due to tourism, exports and private consumption, which was helped by the government's economic stimulus measures. A key driver of the economy, exports, rose 14.2% in October from a year earlier, while imports rose 17.1%, resulting in a trade surplus of $1.4 billion. As such, industrial production also increased in line with domestic demand and exports, excluding automobiles. The current account surplus was $0.7 billion in October, up slightly from September's surplus of $0.6 billion. Meanwhile, private consumption increased 0.8% in October from September, and private investment rose 4.5% as the government spending also rose sharply. Heartbreak as all national shuttlers bow out. Badminton action after this breather.
다음에 꼭 말레이시아 찾아올 수 있도록 또 좋은 앨범으로 좋은 공연으로 찾아오도록 하겠습니다. 지금까지 시작합니다. Terima kasih.
Can mothers and daughters really be best friends? Join us and discover the beauty of a mother-daughter bond.
That role of trying to strike a balance is not really necessary if you have that instinct to prioritize. So you prioritize and you do your best.
Listen to each other, not just for daughters, I think for mothers as well. Try your best not to get angry so quickly.
TV3, stream now on Tonton.
Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Satu dalam sejuta.
Sampai sekarang masih tak ingat lirik. Bila saya tengok dan tonton rancangan itu, saya sedar yang macam down, of course down, tapi dia punya momentum dan juga impact permulaannya daripada 1 in million sangat besar. Try your best, prepare diri anda. Ini akan memberi anda ruang dan platform yang bagus untuk karier anda.
OIAM akan datang Disember ini.
Well, back with sports football, the Malaysia Cup, Negeri Sembilan FC booked their spot in the quarterfinals after recording an impressive 3-0 win against PDRM FC in the second leg of their round of 16 match on Friday. The visitors took the lead 8 minutes into the game, no thanks to PDRM's Israel Ashraf's own goal. Negeri Sembilan doubled their lead in the 53rd minute through Hadin Azman, with Anwar Lagan Selvan scoring the third goal to seal a comfortable 4-2 aggregate win over PDRM. Turning to badminton now, the 2024 Syed Modi India International. The nation's challenge at the Super 300 tournament ended on Friday after all of the national shuttlers crashed out in the quarterfinals in Lucknow. First up were men's doubles pair Kang Kai Jing, Aaron Tai, who battled valiantly against home pair Ishan Bhatnagar, Sankar Prasad Udayakumar before going down 12-21, 29-30 in a 40-minute match. In the mixed doubles category, independent shuttlers Wong Tianqi, Lim Chiu Xian also suffered the same fate when they fell to China's Yao Pinyi, Huang Kejin. Losing the first set 14-21, the world number 35 fought back to claim the second set 24-22. The duo, however, could not maintain the momentum, ultimately losing 16-21 in the third set. Women's doubles shuttlers Go Pei Ki, Teo Mei Jing also saw their campaign cut short, falling to world number 16 Trisa Jolly Gayatri Gopichan Pulela of India. The Indian pair needed only 36 minutes to subdue the national duo 8-21, 15-21. On to esports, the Bang Bang M6 World Championship. Malaysia's Selangor Red Giants, or SRG, claimed their first victory over Turkey's Ulfhedna in the second round of the Swiss stage on Friday. SRG faced early pressure in the beginning, with Ulfhedna launching relentless attacks. SRG, however, retaliated with continuous aggressive plays, with John Vincent Bernal performing exceptionally well, achieving 9 kills without a single death. And as the battle approached the 15-minute mark, Ulfhedna's crystal was successfully destroyed, marking SRG's crucial victory. With 1 win and 1 loss, SRG are now placed in the mid 1-1 group alongside Team Vamos, raising the possibility of both teams being drawn against each other in the third round of the Swiss stage on Saturday. Earlier, another Malaysian side, Team Vamos, revived their hopes of advancing to the knockout stage after securing their first victory in the Swiss stage, defeating Argentina's Maicam Evolve. In the best-of-1 format match, Khairul Azman Sharif's squad started strong, gaining an early lead in kills over their opponents. They maintained the momentum throughout the game, ultimately clinching victory with a score of 11 kills to 4, bouncing back from the disappointing loss in Thursday's opener. Six killed after crane collapses in Thailand. The details when Nightline returns.
A woman's spirit is boundless. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smile. Because this season, we're louder than ever. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. Women's Talk is here to empower and inspire you. Join us on Women's Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Thursday.
Apa yang dia misal ni lah? MHI pukul 10? Apa yang pukul 10?
Dah pukul 9 Nas, kita dah lambat.
Gila lah, lagi setengah jam kita bersiaran. Mana sekarang?
Tenang, kita kan sekarang dah bersiaran pukul 10 pagi.
Ya ke? Ni, dah 9.30 lah. Cepat sikit, kita lambat dah.
Awak gimana? Kita kan dah start bersiaran pukul 10.
Pukul 10?
Ya betul, mulai 1 November, MHI akan mula bersiaran pada jam 10 hingga jam 11 pagi.
Jangan lupa terus bersama kami dengan pelbagai perkongsian menarik di TV3.
Dan stream melalui tonton. Satu dalam sejuta.
Sampai sekarang masih tak ingat lirik. Bila saya tengok dan tonton rancangan itu, saya sedar yang macam down, of course down, tapi dia punya momentum dan juga impact permulaannya daripada 1 in million sangat besar. Try your best, prepare diri anda. Ini akan memberi anda ruang dan platform yang bagus untuk karier anda.
OIAM akan datang Disember ini.
Awas, si comel anda mungkin pembawa penyakit.
Macam kita ni kebiasaannya disebabkan oleh kita memegang directly bahagian haiwan tersebut yang mengandungi kuman itulah.
Dilema antara keselamatan diri atau kesihatan haiwan.
Saya digigit oleh seekor kucing. Saya perasan dekat tangan saya macam ada satu benjol-benjolan.
Kesihatan diri dan haiwan peliharaan kami bincangkan dalam Hello Doktor Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
We're back with news from the foreign front. Britain's parliament voted in favour of a new bill to legalise assisted dying on Friday, opening the way for months of further debate on an issue that has divided the country and raised questions about the standard of palliative care. After a passionate debate in the House of Commons, lower House of Parliament, 330 lawmakers voted in favour of the terminally ill adults end-of-life bill, with 275 against. However, the vote will start months of further debate and the bill could be changed as it wends its way through both House of Commons and the upper House of Parliament. The Labour lawmaker who introduced the bill said she expects the process to take a further 6 months.
To the right, 330.
Also in the UK, British Transport Minister Louise Haigh has resigned after pleading guilty to an offence in connection with misleading police in 2013. In a resignation letter to Prime Minister Keir Starmer dated on Thursday, Haigh said that she had told police she had lost the device during a terrifying mugging on a night out in 2013, only to discover later that the phone was still at her home. She said she was standing down as the issue will inevitably be a distraction from delivering on the work of this government and the policies to which we are committed. Haigh is the first cabinet minister to resign from Starmer's government, which has seen its approval ratings plunge since taking power in July. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Friday said social media platforms now have a social responsibility to ensure the safety of children after the country's parliament passed a bill banning those under the age of 16 from using the services. This comes as social media giants hit out the landmark law, describing it as a rush job littered with many unanswered questions.
World-leading action to make sure social media companies meet their social responsibility. Social media is doing harm to our children. And today, as a direct result of our legislation passed through the Parliament yesterday, through the Senate and confirmed in the House today, platforms now have a social responsibility to ensure the safety of our kids is a priority for them.
Meanwhile, tech companies said that despite the law's perceived shortcomings, they would engage with the government in shaping how it could be implemented in the next 12 months. However, the legislation offers almost no details on how the rules will be enforced, prompting concern among experts that it will be largely symbolic. While the intent behind the policy of keeping children safe online has largely been praised, there were still mixed reactions around the world.
I think it's good to have some sort of limitations for younger kids because there's a lot of stuff online
which is quite dangerous and scary for young kids to see. So I think it's good to have some sort of ban.
I'm strongly against it because I feel like we are a new generation that is accustomed of having social media in our life, and it's something we use on a daily basis, and I think restricting our use isn't going to help us.
Je pense que c'est pas bien parce que les ados ils ont besoin des réseaux sociaux et c'est bien, tu peux mettre ton temps dedans et comme ça. Alors moi je trouve que c'est pas bien qu'ils ont ça. C'est pas bien qu'ils ont interdit les réseaux sociaux.
Israeli forces fired artillery and carried out airstrikes against targets in southern Lebanon on the second day of a ceasefire brokered after more than a year of war between Israel and the Lebanese group Hezbollah. The latest attack came as the Zionist regime and Lebanon traded accusations of violating a ceasefire deal through the truce appeared to be holding. Lebanon claimed that the Zionist regime has violated the agreement multiple times, including attacking those returning to the border villages. The Israeli tank fire also hit 5 towns and some agricultural fields in southern Lebanon, injuring at least 2 people. Israeli strikes on Lebanon have killed at least 3,961 people and injured 16,520 others since October 2023. The exchange of accusations highlighted the fragility of the ceasefire, which was brokered by the United States and France to end the conflict fought in parallel with the Gaza war. The truce lasts for 60 days in the hope of reaching a permanent cessation of hostilities. Despite fraying around the edges, so far the ceasefire appears to be largely holding. Meanwhile, the Zionist regime's assault on Gaza has continued overnight and into Friday, including 3 separate attacks in northern Gaza City, which have killed a combined 10 people, including women and children. Medical sources in Gaza reported that at least 42 people were killed in Zionist attacks as the bombing intensified and tanks advanced into areas of the territory's north and south. Zionist fighter jets have also bombed a home in the Nusrat refugee camp in central Gaza, killing at least 5 people. Meanwhile, the head of the United Nations Palestinian Refugee Agency said that at least 70% of those killed in Gaza were women and children. He added that the ongoing offensive in the northern edge of Gaza over the past 7 weeks has displaced 130,000 people. At least 6 people were killed while 2 were missing after a crane collapsed at a construction site just outside Thailand's capital on Friday. 10 others were hospitalized, some in critical conditions. Local media reported 39 workers were on duty during the collapse. The incident occurred early Friday morning in Samut Sakon, west of Bangkok, when a crane building a flyover collapsed. A team of engineers and police are investigating the cause of the collapse, which authorities suspect was caused by an overloaded girder. Construction accidents are common across Thailand, with business operators often ignoring safety requirements and operating without permits. This time around, before we leave, let's take a look as an Egyptian workshop in Cairo restores and preserves centuries-old books, breathing new life into the historic pages. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.